Good evening, Mr. Chidam. Pleasure to talk to you. My name is Deepak Mehta. I have two questions for you. You said you recently visited IIMS and you found 50% of the students were from scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and OBC. I'm not sure whether you got a chance to see the statistics. Recently, I saw statistics that last year in IIMS, where the ordinary student got admission at high 95% tile plus, the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe seats went at 33 percentile.
So what?
This policy of reservation, which has been there in India in 67 years, has certainly cameras are rolling, so as a political leader, I'm not sure what you'd say, but has failed because the same set of families are getting the benefits out of that and all the other people of the same caste are not getting anything. Do you think this country is doing justice to a large part of the population by continuing with this caste-based reservation policy?
That's a sweeping generalization. When we gave education loans, and that has slowed down now, unfortunately. There was a period of 4 or 5 years when we actually ran a campaign to give education loans. 8 out of 10 loans went to first-generation learners. Their father or mother was either a rickshaw puller or a taxi driver or a peon in a panchayat office, or the lady was vending idlis on the sidewalks of Karaikudi. First-generation learners got loans and went to college. What's the point of telling them, you don't make the grade of 95%? How can they make the grade of 95%? How can they make the grade? Their parents are illiterate. There is no tradition of learning in the family. There's nobody in the family to guide this child, do its homework or do extracurricular study. The child has other duties. I'll tell you, when we got married and we had our child, we were living in a small apartment in West Chennai. My child was growing up in a house where the mother was educated, the father was educated. We had television, we were watching television, we had books in our home, and we would engage the child in word building exercise. 10 feet away was our milkman who supplied milk every morning. He had a child too. And that child, when it gets up in the morning, he was a 7 or 8-year-old boy at that time, the first thing he had to do was to milk the cow, wash the cows, feed the cows, and then go to school. Are you seriously suggesting that the two children are equal? That two children are not equal. What is the point of telling a child in Manipur, you are not equal? The child has to trek. Have you been to Manipur? You have to trek 12 kilometers on hills to go to a school. And if you go to a school, there's a fair chance the teacher will not be there on that day. But I think preaching equality among unequals is the worst form of discrimination. Reservation is the only way in which people who have suffered centuries of neglect can be brought up. Look what reservation has done in a state like Tamil Nadu or Karnataka. In Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, the backward classes, the OBCs, have virtually been pulled up only because of reservation.
But what happens, Mr. Chidambaram, when dominant castes like the Patels or the Jats also demand reservation?
But that's a question that has to be answered in the social and political context of that state. Coming from Tamil Nadu, I cannot comment on how the Patels relate to other communities and what the social context is, but I'm sure the people of Gujarat should be able to find a solution to the Patel agitation, just as the people of Punjab or people of Rajasthan have to find a solution to the Jat agitation. If you ask me about communities in Tamil Nadu, I may be more competent to answer how that should be resolved.
But
I agree with him that once you make reservation, the reservation must go to those who are at the bottom of the pyramid among the reserved classes than to those who are at the top of the pyramid among the reserved classes. That part I agree, that we have to give it to the ones who are most deserving of reservation rather than the ones who are less deserving of reservation. That part I agree.
But given the clamor for more and more reservation, would you be open to, let's say, raising the ceiling from the 50% that the
I think
Supreme
this
Court
50% is all Procrustean. There's no logic to 50%. 100% of Nagaland is reserved because everybody there is a tribal. So this is the context of that state. In Tamil Nadu, 69% reservation is perfectly justified. But whether 69% would be justified in UP, I cannot say, unless you study the social composition of UP. This 50%, where do you get this magic number 50%?